called Fully Surrendered. So 16 years ago, I got an internship at a major media company. And at that internship, one of my fellow contemporaries was a student at Wellesley College. I had never heard of Wellesley College before that. I was at an HBCU, and I didn't know much about a lot of predominantly white schools. But I got to know Jenna that summer. And I was so impressed by her. She was so brilliant. And a lot of that she attributed to, one, being from Baltimore, and two, being a Wellesley College student. I never imagined that in knowing her, I would ever become affiliated with Wellesley College. For the last decade, I've been a television journalist. I've worked in Texas, New York, New Hampshire, and Boston, Massachusetts. Most recently, I worked at a local station, and I was so excited to get this opportunity because it meant I cracked the top 10 market. That's a major milestone for someone who's in television journalism. And so I cracked that top 10 spot. I got to this station, I was super excited, and soon my optimism began to crumble because the environment was toxic, it was hostile. I would have to do live shots right after being chewed out by a photographer, get on television and make it look like everything was okay. And so once my contract was over and the assignment was done, I was honestly relieved because that anxiety would subside. And so afterwards, I ended up going to therapy because I needed to navigate through what I thought was going to be this amazing experience. And not only that, I still had dreams of becoming a television news anchor. That hadn't even been realized yet. And so now I'm grappling and wrestling with, well, what does that mean for my bigger dream? So later on that year, December of 2018, I got the opportunity at that same station to interview for a television news anchor role. And I was like, okay, here it is. And some might ask, why on earth would you go back to that same station that was hostile to you and interview for another job? But by this time, that particular boss was gone, and there was a new television news director. And so I came in with a fresh perspective. This will be different. This can be different. And so when I was in the interview, he starts talking to me and telling me that he's gonna need me to work on Saturdays and Sundays for the next 5 years. I would also be reporting Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and he needed me to get to know Boston very well, which meant I would spend the next 2 days building relationships. So you get the picture. I'd be working for 7 days a week. It also meant that I wouldn't see my husband, I wouldn't see my daughter, I wouldn't see home. That television news station would basically own me and my existence. And as he was talking to me, I felt like a funeral was happening on the inside. Mm-hmm. I could feel my dreams of becoming a television news anchor being buried right there in the moment. When I left angry and sad and frustrated. I'm a very spiritual person. I made it my business not to talk to God for the next 2 weeks. And that's hard for me to do. As somebody who loves the Lord, that's really tough for me to do, but I did it. And through my sadness and my grief and my pain, I finally quieted myself and I said, God, I thought that this was our plan. I thought you and I wanted me to be a television anchor. But I know that right now that's not the case because I have no peace about this job. Mm. And if it was right, I would have that peace. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking for other jobs. I kept talking to God. He and I got reacquainted. And finally I heard him say, Kristen, I needed you to know that you didn't want that job. And in that moment, I was able to still myself and fully surrender to the higher power who already knows my destination and already knows my future. started looking for other jobs, and so did my husband on my behalf. And he found this posting at Wellesley College. And I was like, okay. And so I got a call for a pre-screen, and that went well. And then I got called in for the interview, and that went well. I felt like I brought my full self. I brought my ideas. I felt like they were valued. And then I got called again for another couple of questions, and that went well. And then at the end, it happened. I got a job offer. And I was like, I might have to commit to this. I didn't think it was gonna go this far. And so it did, and I asked some questions. I said, if I need to change my hours, can I do that? And they said yes. I said, if I need to shift my days around, can I do that? And they said yes. I said, can I, as a part-time employee, enroll in your benefits package? And they said yes. I was like, wow. This job is 5 minutes from my home, 10 minutes from my daughter's daycare. It's using skills that I really love in a different way. I accepted. And in the midst of that, realized that my leadership had shifted from it all being about my plans to now being fully surrendered to the place where God was leading me. Now I am here, 4 months in, and a part of a group that has launched a transformational women's leadership program. All of this after having had my own transformation. So I say to all of you, God does know your end from the beginning. It is okay to fully surrender and partner with the divine for the answer for where you need to go. And just think, 16 years ago, he introduced me to this place, and I didn't even know that I would find a home here one day. Thank you.